Hey, you guys, I'm here with Scott Brown and Anthony King, and you guys are the book writer and the lyrics and music writers for Gutenberg the musical. You guys have been working on this musical for over 15 years. Tell me, how does it feel to finally bring it on Broadway?
It's wild. It's unbelievable that it's happening. It really is.
I'd like to say that we were smart enough to predict this, but we did not. We would never have predicted this.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, there's been so many iterations of this musical. I want to know, how has it changed over the years, and how did you guys find the final product of Gutenberg that's going to be on Broadway soon?
It's changed so much because, well, it's about two guys who've written this show about Johann Gutenberg and want to take it to Broadway, and now it's on Broadway. So we're doing a lot of work to make that like a fun, exciting thing to be in this Broadway theater doing that show. And then, of course, we're working with Josh and Andrew, who are so funny and inventive, and really trying to find like the funniest things to do with those guys. So
yeah.
It's really fun.
I mean, we built the show originally on its feet, and we performed it, and so it's kind of amazing to watch other people do that, you know, and have how it kind of develops with them and gloms onto them and how they make it their own. Because, yeah, I mean, the show is just what they create, what they imagine, and some of that is always going to kind of like attach to the performers themselves. And these guys are like exactly the performers you would want that to attach to.
Yeah, what's really cool about Gutenberg is that it's an original musical, and you know, you don't get too many of those on Broadway these days. Tell me, what inspired you guys to write this musical?
Honestly, we were inspired by other people writing musicals. It started when I was working as an intern at Manhattan Theater Club years ago, and I would go see readings of new musicals and read people's musicals, and there was just such a fire and passion of like, who are these people and where do these ideas come from, that we got excited about of wanting to explore two guys and just the act of creating something together.
Yeah.
I mean, these things would come in, Anthony would bring home tapes, and they would be like the full, sometimes the full show, performed by the people who wrote it. They'd be using different voices. They'd be creating whatever it was they could create just, you know, on a recording, usually probably in their apartments, we often imagine. And that was so touching, you know. I mean, just the idea that that's what theater is at its most. And like the product may often be insane to behold, you know, maybe totally misbegotten, but it's still kind of a miracle.
Yeah.
Like seeing that you can create something out of nothing.
So you guys are working with Alex Timbers again, who you worked on with Beetlejuice, and he's been a part of this creative team for a while too.
Yeah.
Tell me, what has it been like working with him again on this Broadway production?
He's the most inventive director on Broadway, I think, and so he has such passion and kindness and a vision of not only what the show can be, but also how to get every part of it there. I always think of him just steering a giant ship. That's what it feels like. And he's just so effortless at it. The show wouldn't be here without him. He's just he's the most very important.
Yeah.
Yes, the best thing we accidentally did 15 years ago was get Alex Timbers as the director of the original production. Yeah, I mean, he's like, I don't know, it's amazing how he can create so much big stuff, so much precise stuff, so much inventive stuff, all with love, you know. I mean, that's I think there's a kind of a wrong-headed idea in show business that to create anything big or interesting, it has to be done with like cruelty and authoritarianism, and he gets those results just really by fostering this amazing atmosphere, and I don't know how he does it.
Yeah. The last thing I want to know is, what would you tell aspiring, you know, songwriters or book writers about getting their shows on Broadway and, you know, going through the journey that is getting your show to be on Broadway?
I think I would say that this is what the show is about, and I think what our experience is about as well, is that it's, yes, you want to take your show to Broadway and you want that destination, but the act of actually creating it together and developing it and continuing to rewrite it, that's where the real, like, that's where life is. That's where you live most of the time, because you can't control what's going to happen to it. And so that's the part that you have to love. And it's the part that's the most exciting for us. Like, we love just continuing to try to figure out, how can we make this better? How can we keep working on it? And the rest of it kind of takes care of itself.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, it often starts with a partnership. That's like the fundamental unit of anything, it seems, that's created. It's there's that picture everybody has in their head of like Broadway songwriters. It's like two people around a piano, you know.
Yeah, right,
it's like
exactly.
one's, you know, with pencils in their mouths and going like or something like that. But that's where it begins. Like, that's where the shared illusion or delusion or whatever it is, that that shared reality has to begin with two people believing in each other and believing in what they're doing.
Yeah. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Can we get a-